Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the morning show of yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from postwaytrading.com, home of the world famous attack reports. Well, we got another day. And this time there's no government reports. Nope. Taking a day off, taking a breather. This week is packed full. It has been packed full of reports. But we will pick things up again starting tomorrow. Tomorrow and also on Friday. So, not out of the woods yet as far as reports. And then, of course, as you know, next week we have the FOMC. So, let's jump right into things and see exactly what is going on because, yeah, there is a lot going on. All right, first thing first, you will notice, let me just pull this up here. Okay. So we got the US dollar index this morning down 7 pips at 102.88. We have the euro up 11 pips at 109.38 and the pound sterling's up 4 at 127.96. The Aussie is up 11 pips at 66.16. We have Bitcoin futures up $1,370 at 73,170. It did top out at 74,365. We got the Ethereum up $8 at $4,014. It did top out at $4,124. Looking at oil is up $1.88 a barrel this morning, trading at $79.43 per barrel. We have nat gas down a nickel at $1.66. Gold futures up $7.10 at $2,173.20 an ounce. Silver up 30 cents at $24.70 per ounce. We have copper up 8 cents at $4.01. Broke back above $4. It's been a while, hasn't it? Dow futures up 57 at 39,537. E-mini S&P 500 down 8 points at 52.33 and a quarter. And the NASDAQ, the big story, down 123 and a half points at 18,353 and a quarter. We have Russell futures up 14.6 points at 2103 even. Soybeans getting smashed this morning, or should we say crushed, pun intended, down 12 cents at $11.83 a bushel. Corn down 2 cents at 4.39 a bushel, and wheat down 7 cents, trading at $5.39 per bushel. Inflation is proving difficult to shake. There is a shroom boom among startup founders seeking inspiration from microdosing psilocybin. Really interesting with the drug thing here. Your real estate agent might be hiding the most affordable homes from you. And of course, YouTube changed how we watch videos. A departure of creators might lead to its own shift. Have you noticed the sheer amount of YouTubers leaving the platform? Well, it's been almost 19 years since the um, platform's first video, and YouTube has since amassed hundreds of millions of viewers consuming endless hours of videos. But some people who helped fuel YouTube's rise are walking away from the platform that gave them their big break. Creators with large followings and active channels are throwing in the towel, whether due to burnout or frustration over keeping up with the ever changing platform. Take YouTube megastar Matt Pat, who built multiple successful channels focused on dissecting theories behind complex storylines. When he announced his retirement earlier this year, he predicted other YouTubers might do the same. I think the dam is going to burst in a lot of ways, he said. That doesn't mean YouTube is necessarily in trouble. The platform is crushing it with 12 straight months as the top streaming service, according to Nielsen data, and a massive ads business. Gaming, podcast, and commentary channels also continue to thrive. Ultimately, though, YouTube could become dominated by two types of media: high end videos like Mr. Beast and AI generated content. The AI generated content is on the rise in YouTube land. Another massively popular video platform is also navigating some turbulence. TikTok is facing a potential ban in the US if some lawmakers get their way. Critics have raised concerns about the app's Chinese owners for years, but it's finally coming to a head in the form of a new bill making its way through Congress as we speak. But it's not just political issues that TikTok should be worried about. TikTok's growth rate for its daily average users has collapsed after dominating the social media landscape for years. As luck would have it, well, things happen. Times change. TikTok's challenges represent the ongoing uncertainty content creators face trying to make a living in such an unpredictable and shrinking world. That doesn't mean the creator economy is doomed. At an estimated size of roughly $250 billion, it's not going to disappear overnight. But consolidation could be in order as creators realize the headaches of running a business that's ultimately beholden to the whims of the tech platforms they post on. Partnering up with each other could give them more power to negotiate better terms with advertisers or tech platforms and potentially avoid the instability that is ultimately driving some of them to quit the business altogether. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. All they have to do is start their own platform or go over to Rumble. If you have 5 million subscribers and you announce to your 5 million subscribers that you're starting your own platform, even if only half of them went with you, it would still be beneficial for you because then you could do what you want, say what you want. You don't have to worry about censorship issues or any of that stuff. You have your own private platform. And why not, right? Bitcoin and gold are both going on fire right now. The volatile digital currency and the steady precious metal both climbed to record highs last week. Spot ETFs and an upcoming halving event powered Bitcoin's latest run, while central bank buying sprees are propping up the price of gold. That's right, central banks are buying gold. Remember when they said, "Oh, gold is really not an asset. It's not a security. It's not money. We only, dabble in it. We just dabble. Just out of tradition." Remember when Bernanke said that? Well, now they're stacking. The central bank, the Federal Reserve, has become a stacker. Who knew? Who knew? Inflation isn't going away. Consumer price index data for February showed a hotter than expected inflation rate of 3.2%, which is well above their 2% threshold, is it not? And above January's year over year mark of 3.1%. Since February of 2020, the CPI has increased by around 20%. Consumer price index has increased around 20%. Jamie Dimon doesn't think the Fed should rush to cut rates. The JP Morgan CEO said the central bank would be better off waiting until after June to lower interest rates. With their credibility at stake, central bankers would benefit from more data, Damon added. Startup land is in the midst of a shroom boom, despite still being illegal in much of the United States. Some startup founders are experimenting with small doses of psilocybin to improve focus and productivity. Some founders also claim that their creativity is aided by this, and so is their mental health. Yeah, drugs aren't going away, folks. America lost the war on drugs as soon as Nancy Reagan uttered the phrase out of her mouth. They lost already. So her saying that It didn't do anything. It didn't stop nothing. Look at the country today versus the country in the 1980s. Has drug use increased? So, yeah, America lost the war on drugs. Do you know why America lost the war on drugs? Because there was never a war on drugs to begin with. It wasn't the war on drugs, it was the war for drugs. All of that military movement, all of that so called policing, no, no, no. The government is the chief drug dealer. The pharmaceutical industrial complex also benefits from these drugs as well. All right. That's why they need it. And that's why it's never going to stop coming to the country. Whether they make it legal or keep it illegal, it doesn't matter. Drug use is still going to go up. People say darn the law and they still get high. All right. And there's still many people that are willing to take the risk of becoming illegal drug dealers because of the profit potential. But remember, when you're operating in that space, you're stepping on the government's toes. Remember, it was announced and the lid was blown off that the CIA was responsible for the drug epidemic of the 1980s, the crack cocaine epidemic. All right. That's already been a known fact. All right. It was demonstrated. And it's just the way of the world. So, yeah, shroom boom, I'm not surprised. Anything that people can use to escape reality and get high off, they're going to do it. All right. It's just what it is. All right. OpenAI claps back at Elon Musk in coherent lawsuit. Musk suite alleged the company breached its founding agreement. In a recent legal filing, OpenAI said that doesn't exist. The company also said Musk is jealous of the company's success without him. Christopher Nolan's 2010 blockbuster is becoming a reality. Researchers from the University of Chicago have found a troubling security flaw in MetaQuest headsets that enables hackers to manipulate users' VR experiences, steal data, and control interactions without detection. They're calling the strategy an inception attack. Well, here's my thing. If all of this is happening without detection, how did you detect it in the first place? Good question, right? They're controlling interactions without detection. How do you know that? Very interesting. Real estate has a secret. Some realtors might filter out listings with subpar commissions before passing along options to their clients. Multi-billion-dollar lawsuits could put an end to that. Amazon's growing ad tech ambitions are threatening Google and Meta's revenue. Amazon is working to grow its ad business beyond search placements. Its efforts are starting to gain steam with advertisers, some of whom are doubting their Amazon spend at the expense of Meta and Google. Wow, that's very. I mean, Amazon's they're doing the most right now, isn't it? They got people doubling their Amazon spending at the expense of Meta and Google. So they're saying, Meta ain't working for us no more. Google ain't working for us no more. Amazon, here, you take the money. You take the check. And what about PIP? You ever heard of PIP? No, I don't mean Scottie Pippen. No, I don't mean PIPs as in trading in Forex. And I don't mean Gladys Knight and the Pips. PIP. Someone may want you gone. Companies like putting their employees on performance improvement plans. That's what PIP stands for, performance improvement plans, before termination because of the legal protections they offer. According to a former tech manager, being placed on a PIP is usually a point of no return and a signal to start job hunting. Yeah, think about it. Announcing, look, you're about to be laid off, fired, dismissed, terminated, well, whatever you want to call it, let go, kick to the curb. And this is a way for them to cover themselves by saying that you just didn't meet your performance review. You were supposed to do thus and so, and you missed the mark by one or two. And that's grounds for termination. Remember, in the United States of America, it's at will employment unless you have a contract. So you can be let go for any reason at any time, even without cause. It's just the way it is. And that's an old school thing. What an employer will always do is cite that you failed at some aspect of your job, and then they go ahead and they let you go. They can you. In other news, a Trump versus Biden rematch is on, and it's a showdown most Americans didn't want. Instacart, DoorDash, and other delivery service customers say their accounts were deactivated because of innocent mistakes. And we're going to get more into that a little later on. A GOP lawmaker is abruptly leaving Congress, making Mike Johnson's life even harder. Cybersecurity startup Sierra is set to triple its valuation to as high as $1.55 billion in a new funding round. Donald Trump once offered to sell Truth Social to Elon Musk. A former Boeing manager turned whistleblower has been found dead with a self-inflicted wound, the authorities say. And Olympics on steroids, CEO says they'll have stewards on call in case of overdosing athletes. Very interesting. I went to SXSW and saw Netflix and Amazon competing with splashy sci-fi while Paramount Plus pitched its whole lineup. And three AI themes investors should watch for as the tech craze broadens out to the rest of the market. And Apple Vision Pro was used in surgery to help perform spinal operations. Today's earnings, we have Volkswagen and A.T.T.A.C, to name a few. Now, let's pull back the layers here. We're going to talk about something a little controversial, but all of this has to do with the economy and the markets, always. If you trade Boeing stock, well, you're going to really want to listen to this story. A former Boeing manager turned whistleblower has been found dead with a self-inflicted wound, the authorities say. Yeah, John Barnett, age 62, worked for over 30 years at Boeing, including as a quality manager at a 787 plant. Barnett was due to continue his deposition in a case against Boeing, his lawyer said. So a former Boeing manager, let me get this straight, who flagged concerns about the aircraft manufacturer's quality standards, was found dead Saturday in South Carolina. The body of John Barnett, 62, was found in his truck at a hotel car park in Charleston, just days after he started giving a formal deposition in a legal action against Boeing, the BBC reported. Barnett died from what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the Charleston County Coroner's Office told Business Insider in a statement. No further details were provided. Boeing told BI in a statement, "We are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing, and our thoughts are with his family and friends." Police are investigating Barnett's death. He worked for about 32 years at Boeing before retiring in 2017, and for a time was a quality manager at the North Charleston manufacturing plant for the 787 Dreamliner, the BBC reported in 2019. At this post, Barnett said he observed worrying signs of slipping standards at Boeing, adding that the manufacturer was rushing to assemble its aircraft. "I haven't seen a plane out of Charleston yet that I put my name on saying it's safe and airworthy," Barnett told the New York Times in 2019. That year, he told the BBC that a test in 2016 for 300 oxygen systems showed that one quarter of them failed to deploy. Barnett also alleged that he knew of at least one case at the plant where workers used parts from scrap bins to fit planes on the production line. In January, Barnett told TMZ there were cases in which inspectors were given only 2 hours to find defects in a supplier's products, significantly hampering their ability to conduct proper checks. Boeing has denied Barnett's allegations and said that while it found some defective oxygen systems, as Barnett said, it removed them from production so they weren't deployed on any aircraft. The Federal Aviation Administration visited the Charleston facility and found that more than 50 non-conforming parts were missing, appearing to add credibility to Barnett's claims of parts from scrap bins being used per the BBC. All right, 50 non-conforming parts were missing. Not 5, not 10, but 50. And this is according to the FAA. They found 50. Barnett was due to continue deposition, lawyer says. Barnett filed an Air 21 case against Boeing, saying it undermined his career because he had raised safety concerns at the Charleston plant. The Air 21 is a law protecting airline safety whistleblowers. Barnett's lawyer, Brian Knowles, said the former Boeing manager was supposed to report Friday for the third day of his deposition, per the corporate crime reporter, which first reported the news. He was questioned by Boeing lawyers Thursday and then cross-examined by Knowles on Friday, but didn't show up or respond to calls on Saturday. Barnett's lawyer asked his hotel to check on the whistleblower, and he was found dead in his vehicle. Knowles told the corporate crime reporter the BBC reported the same details surrounding Barnett's death. In an email, Knowles and his co-counsel Robert Turkowitz said Barnett had almost finished his deposition, was in very good spirits, and really looked forward to putting this phase of his life behind him and moving on. We didn't see any indication he would take his own life. No one can believe it, the lawyer's statement said. Knowles and Turkowitz called on the Charleston police to fully investigate Barnett's death and reveal their findings to the public. Boeing has in recent months come under scrutiny over safety concerns around its 737 MAX planes after an Alaska Airlines flight in January had a door plug blown out of its fuselage while in the air. The New York Times reported on Monday, citing a set of presentation slides, that Boeing had recently failed 33 out of 89 FAA product audits for its 737 MAX production. Again, they failed 33, there's that number 33, out of 89 FAA product audits for its 737 MAX production. I just want to point out the significance 33 and very interesting 89 FAA product audits. The number 89. Remember, I explained to you guys what happened yesterday in the late 80s? Remember, I explained that what was going on in the airline industry, and they use 89. Very interesting, numbers. Numbers are very forthtelling. On Monday, at least 50 passengers were injured. Now, here we go. 50 passengers were injured when a Boeing 787 Dreamliner run by Latin Airlines dropped suddenly because of a technical issue. The 787 is the aircraft that Barnett worked on at the North Charleston facility. March the 12th of 2024 is when all this went down. Now, I got to tell you something. Oh, by the way, correction. It wasn't the BBC that first reported that Barnett was found deceased. It was Corporate Crime Reporter who reported that. So, again, all of these issues, the FAA has even found these issues. So it's not like this is a conspiracy theory. It's a known, documented fact that Bowen has been caught slipping. So you must ask yourself the next logical question. Because, I mean, this is the logical conclusion. Why hasn't anyone gone to prison at Boeing? Why has no one been held accountable at Boeing? Why is the CEO not being held accountable at Boeing? Something that you have to ask yourself. Also, why was he in a hotel parking lot? I'm sure he has an address. I'm sure he has a home. Why would someone who was depressed and suicidal drive their vehicle to a motel parking lot and off themselves? A person who is itching to die, they're not going to drive to some place that has no significance and just off themselves. They normally do it in the quiet confines of their own home. Bedroom, bathroom, basement, whatever. Car garage, whatever. They don't do it in a parking lot of a motel. What was the person doing there? I can tell you exactly what he was doing there. He received a call and was probably told to meet someone there. More than likely, it was at night. Once he got there, he was probably drugged or tased so that he could be incapacitated. He was then placed in his vehicle. The gun was put in his hand. The trigger was pulled. Now it looks like suicide. Not only that, but you got the gun residue powder on the victim's hand. So when they do their forensics, they'll say, well, he does have gun residue on his hand, which means he is the one that fired the gun. Right? So you would say that's definitely a suicide. You got the gun residue on the hand. Telltale sign that you fired a firearm. What's at question, though, is did he do it on his own? Was he forced to do it, or did someone do it for him? We know that suiciding people is a very popular way to get away with murder. All right, because when the police come and do their forensics, it's going to show that all the earmarks of a suicide are there. Self-inflicted gunshot wound, open and shut case, right? No other forensics will be found. No other hair fibers or DNA will be found in and around the car. You best believe that. The people wore gloves, probably were all masked up, maybe even clean shaven before they went. It was a professional hit. He was taken out. Think about it. They could have waited till he finished his deposition. They could have offed him months ago. Why now? Because he was about to finish that deposition, and all the juicy details would have came out. They couldn't have that. So now, no whistleblower, no case, right? No witness, no star witness, no case. And because we know that the FAA has no teeth because of the incredible amount of conflict of interest at most government oversighting agencies like the FAA, the CDC, the FDA, all compromised, all institutions of corruption. So you know nothing's going to happen. Boeing is still going to be allowed to do business and the rest will be history. They don't mind paying $1 billion fine to the FAA. They got plenty of money. They set aside money for these things. They know exactly what they're doing. It's not an accident. All right. It's not an accident when these things happen. The company has been caught cutting corners, and they're going to get away with it because that's the way of America. All you have to do is hit someone upside the head with a very large briefcase stacked full of money, and your problems go away. And for those individuals that you can't buy off, that won't accept any amount of money, those are the ones, like the victim in this story, that get suicided. And then the world moves on. It's really sad what's happening. Like I said, the United States is so full of corruption right now. They have no business pointing the finger at anybody else. And that's just facts. So think about it. If you don't wake up now, when will you? And now that it's official that Trump is the Republican nominee, it's going to be a Trump and Biden race. But don't be deceived. That's not the only people that you can vote for. All right? Like I said, do not vote for the incumbents. Vote out every incumbent. Do not vote for any Republican or Democrat at any level of government, whether it be your local races, city, county, state, doesn't matter. Federal, doesn't matter. Vote all independent. Don't let any Democrats or Republicans remain in office. Get rid of both of them because they're one and the same. Then that way, the political theater part is done. You will see the man behind the curtain. You will see the emperor has no clothes. But I am confident and I assure you that it's not going to happen. The people are going to vote for either a Democrat or a Republican. And that's just how it's going to be. They're going to remain installed in your government, which it was never meant to be that way. There's no such thing as a two-party system. America was never a two-party system. It's a constitutional republic, not a Democrat-Republican democracy. It's supposed to be the government of the people, for the people, by the people, not a government of the Electoral College, the government of the shadow government, the government of big business, the government of the central bank, the government of the pharmaceutical industrial complex, the government of the military industrial complex, the government of the prison industrial complex. No. So wake up, people. All right, if you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can be kept abreast when we drop new content. Remember, the system works if you work the system. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. It's time for us to go private and help out our traders place their orders in these markets. Until next time, peace out.